if there was a leadership challenge, a real one, which so far we've had, but, Theresa May is still in power, and we were to see a pro-Brexit Prime Minister such as Boris Johnson come up, does it mean that, there's a 70% chance of a general election by December 2019?
I'm not sure it necessarily changes the domestic dynamics that much. It may do, but I think if whoever is the next Prime Minister would have to feel very confident of their position if they were to push for another election. I mean, let's not forget what happened to Theresa May 2 years ago. But I think the real problem would be how it changes negotiations with the rest of the EU, because on the assumption that a new Prime Minister is in place, despite the fact that Brexit hasn't actually been delivered properly yet, you're going to find a situation where the European leaders are faced with the possibility of a Boris Johnson who they simply don't trust, or another pro-Brexit Prime Minister who they don't think they can work with. So that's going to make life much more difficult, I think, to get not only Brexit across the line, but to get the future relationship between the UK and the EU sorted out.
Stephen King, tell me about this new party. There seems to be a middle ground. In the break, you and I were talking about William Hague, talking about the middle ground as well. I mean, unlike in the United States, within the parliamentary system, we've actually got some people exiting on both sides, trying to find, I can't remember what it's called, Centre UK, whatever it's called.
It's called Change UK.
Change UK, excuse me, Change UK. Yeah. Does it really have legs? Can it really move forward?
I think at this stage it's very, very difficult to tell. One of the awkward issues that's cropped up over the last couple of weeks is that we now have these European parliamentary elections coming up that Britain has to now take part in later in May. And Nigel Farage, who was the leader of the UKIP, has formed a new Brexit party, which, according to latest opinion polls, is doing incredibly well, whereas Change UK, which in one sense is the voice of Remainers, has done a lot less well. And one reason for that, I think, is that Change UK is not the only party that's in favour of remaining. You've got the Lib Dems as well, and Change UK and Lib Dems are not really working that closely together to have sort of, if you like, joint or agreed candidates. So effectively the Remain vote is split, whereas the Brexit vote is very clearly well defined. And it appears that Farage and co have taken votes away from the Conservatives to a significant degree. So the Conservatives do badly. Change UK, I think, will not do particularly well. And Farage will say, look, I'm still a winner.
But do they need to change their name? We have Therese Raphael, one of our opinion writers, basically saying that voters don't realise that the one thing that unites, right, MPs and Change UK is their opposition to Brexit, whereas on the other side, you have a party called, the Brexit Party, so that's very clear.
Well, I think the problem with a name like, I don't know, the anti-Brexit Party is clearly going to put an awful lot of people off as well. So, I mean, I think the point about Change UK is not just to be pro-Brexit, of course. It is to try and change the dynamic of the political debate. So I think, I understand the problems with the name, but I think they generally are appealing to a wider audience.